Russia-Ukraine war that has now entered, well, it's nearly completing its fourth year, is at a crucial juncture.
And for the first time in 4 years, there exists a possibility that the heads of both the warring nations can face each other at the negotiation table.
Well, representatives from both the nations met together in a first-of-its-kind trilateral peace talk brokered by the US in Abu Dhabi. After the two-day-long negotiations, both Russia and Ukraine have agreed to meet for a second time.
The talks slated for February 1st could involve Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And this is according to an Axios report that cited a U.S. official familiar with the matter.
Washington says the trilateral talks in Abu Dhabi went as well as could be expected. Ahead of the meetings, Russian President Vladimir Putin held a meeting with U.S. Special Presidential Envoy Steve Witkoff and businessman Jared Kushner, which was described as extremely substantive, constructive, frank, and based on trust by Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov. The talks focused on the Ukrainian settlement and also lasted for about 4 hours.
But it's not just the U.S. hinting at a possible presidential meeting. President Zelensky has suggested a second meeting could happen as soon as next week. Earlier, he met U.S. President Donald Trump for about an hour on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos as well.
The Abu Dhabi talks, the first trilateral meeting since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine back in 2022, ended without a concrete breakthrough, but all sides hailed the discussions as a significant step towards ending the war. However, the Kremlin refuses to drop its demand that Kyiv withdraw forces from eastern Donbas and remains committed to its maximalist objectives.
Well, meanwhile, Russia accused Ukraine of attacking an ambulance in Ukrainian territory under Moscow's control and killing 3 medics. Now, later, it reported a Ukrainian missile attack on energy infrastructure in Belgorod. And amid this, the Ukrainian president has sought more air defense support from allies. Zelensky made these demands in Lithuania, where he is taking part in a ceremony to commemorate the 1863 uprising in Poland and Lithuania against the Tsarist Russia.
The two-day talks concluded as waves of Russian airstrikes targeted Ukraine's heavily damaged energy infrastructure, killing 1 person and injuring 35 others. Russia faced criticism for launching drones and missile attacks on Kyiv and Kharkiv, Ukraine's 2 largest cities. Even as the peace talks were underway, Kyiv's critical infrastructure was severely affected, with around 6,000 buildings left without heating.
Now, Ukraine and Russia had first met for talks on ending the war on February 28, 2022. The two sides met again in Antalya and in Istanbul in March 2022. And as the conflict continued through 2023 and 2024, there were no attempts at fresh diplomacy. But Trump's return to the White House in January 2025 triggered a restart.